Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the OSU Roundup. Great show today. We're going to start with baseball as Coach Josh Holliday joins us here on set. And Coach, first off, glad to have you back here yet again. And what a great weekend. What a fun weekend for your team as you guys went to Bedlam and found 3 different ballparks and found a couple of W's.
Yeah, the Bedlam series, as you said, it's a unique series. Friday night in Tulsa, great crowd over there. They always turn out, packed house. Great start by Jensen Elliott. Takes a shutout into the 9th. He was dominant on the mound. We get the place going with back-to-back home runs in the first inning and 5-1 victory. You take the trip over that night from Tulsa to Oklahoma City and kind of get settled in. And then Saturday night in Oklahoma City, again, the kids get to adjust to another ballpark. You go from a AA field in Tulsa to a AAA field in Oklahoma City. So that's different and unique in and of itself. It was a little bit of a strange day, kind of cloudy, cold day in the great state of Oklahoma for middle of May. We lose a tough one in extra innings on a walk-off. Well-pitched game for sure. Didn't do a whole lot on offense, but what a moment. Colin Simpson, a long home run in the 8th inning to tie it and push it into extras. OU gets a base hit late to win. And then Sunday in Norman, a little bit of a change-up in things. We hadn't played a on-campus 3-game series game in Norman in quite some time. We play over there Sunday, and it was a great ball game. Back and forth game. Both teams battled. Very competitive game. Bryce Carter, clutch 3-run dinger in the 8th inning to give us the lead. McCusker hits one in the 9th inning to give us a 4-run lead, and that was a big run because they load the bases in the 9th, but Ben Leeper does a great job of wiggling out of a bases-loaded no-out jam to preserve the victory, and winning 2 out of 3 against a quality OU team is job well done by our kids.
3 straight Bedlam Series wins, 6 of the last 7. Again, you and I were just having an interesting conversation prior to the show and talking about taking the games and truly making them one game at a time. But as an alum and a fan, I looked at this series, and for whatever reason, I felt the buildup was bigger this year, maybe more on the line. I'm not sure why. But did you sense that, and do you try to curb that or encourage that?
We didn't speak about the opponent one time prior to Friday night, and I didn't have to. You come off a trip to Oregon State where your kids play great baseball. They knew they were playing the defending national champions on the road, and we jump right into final exams. Busy week. The kids are focused on school. They're tired. They're grinding through school, and I thought, what better series to be playing on the back end of finals than Oklahoma, where you know right away the kids are going to get up to play, the crowds are going to be big, the energy, the emotion, adrenaline will be there. So the games kind of took care of themselves from that standpoint. You don't have to tell the kids what's at stake. They already know that. Each game we play is important. But did we put any added flavor to it? We didn't. Where I think maybe some of the attention comes is the fact that it's 2 good teams squaring off in pivotal games late in the season. And the fact that our kids handled the situation so well. I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, they did. Cowboys took 2 of 3 from the Sooners. They get another Bedlam Series win, and we need to take a break. We'll come back and we'll look at a couple of games a little more closely. We'll do that after our first time out as we continue with the OSU Roundup.
The OSU Roundup is brought to you by Bud Light, game day's favorite light lager. By the Visit StillwaterOK.org, Shop, Dine, and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life.
Welcome back to the show. Well, we talked in general how the games went. The Cowboys took 2 out of 3 from Oklahoma, got another series win. And, Coach, let's go back real quickly. You touched on it and kind of gave us some really good highlights in the first one. But Jensen Elliott, another fantastic game, another complete game for him. And 3 out of the last 4 weeks, he's been really good.
He was outstanding. Totally dominated the game. Never really let them make any kind of push. I think maybe emotionally in the 9th inning, he knew he was on the end final step of the complete game, so maybe that got to him just a tad. But he finishes the game, complete game, gives up 1 run, really commanded the ball, worked fast threw a ton of strikes. Our defense was good. Christian Funk hits a couple of dingers, Navigato and Colin Simpson. Alex Garcia with a big 2-strike base hit. 5-1 game. I mean, what can you say? It's really good baseball.
Yeah, you guys took control early. And, we've talked about this, but Jensen Elliott doesn't need a whole lot. But when you give him 3 to go out in that second frame, he can really settle
Yeah,
in.
the early lead lets him attack the bat, meaning he doesn't have to pitch away from contact. He can let the sinker work. He wants people to hit the ball. Then you get a lot of quick outs. You get outs on the first, second, or third pitch. It allows you to pitch 7, 8, and in some cases 9 innings.
3-2 loss in a walk-off fashion in the bottom of 10 in game 2, but this was a good game. This one was back and forth, and they found a way.
It was a good game. You know, credit the Sooners. They hung in there. Good ball game late. Colin Simpson comes up with us down. They bring their Sunday starter in to try to get him out on Saturday night. So that tells you the value they placed on that game. And Colin greeted him with one of the longer home runs I've seen hit in Bricktown to tie it. And then, late in the game, the home team in those extra inning games has a little bit of a mental edge because they know, hey, we got a chance to get one and walk them off. We make an early mistake in the inning on an error. We hit a batter, but then Ben Leeper comes right back and gets the next 2 guys out. And the young man for them gets a 2-out base hit to left field to win a game. So tip your cap, move on the next day. Ironically enough, on Sunday, Ben Leeper's right back out there. He gets the final 3 outs to record the save. Bryce Carter, who was on the receiving end of the throw from left field, had a kick off his mitt. He gets a big 3-run homer. So great day on Sunday to see kids bounce back. Great signs of resiliency and redemption for those kids. And that's a big thing that we talked about, was how good a job we did of turning the page on Saturday and being present on Sunday.
We don't talk in terms of lead changes often in baseball. It's a basketball term, sometimes a football term, but there were 5 of them in this game. They led, you tied it. They led, you tied it. You took the lead. They came back, took the lead. You took the final lead. I mean, it was just a nip and tuck all day.
All 3 games had very unique personalities. Game 1, we really dominated that game. The home runs and the emotion and the way Jensen was throwing, I don't think they had a whole lot of mojo. Game 2, their pitchers were pretty dominant in Game 2. They kind of carried the momentum, if you will. Game 3, classic back and forth, both sides going at it, a lot of offense. Came down to one big swing of the bat late in Bryce Carter. And then, like I said, Ben Leeper wiggling his way out of a bases-loaded jam. So 3 games, 3 very different games. But in the end, the kids did a heck of a job on our side of finding a way to win that 3rd game, and ultimately 3 out of 4 in the season.
Fantastic job right there. And the 9th got interesting, but you guys get the win, 10-7, and the Cowboys take the series. Now, Coach, you got a Thursday, Friday, Saturday matchup with Baylor, and this is the regular season finale. And obviously, you guys have really been trudging through, doing a great job, and now it's about the team right now that stands atop the Big 12.
Well, Baylor's an outstanding team. Their coaching staff's done a remarkable job in a short amount of time, are really pulling together some quality players, but also they're very well coached. I think they got a great plan on offense, and should be a great series. We'll need to play well. But one of the great things that our schedule has done for us this year is prepare us for just about anything we're going to see. And so you bank on your experience to this point. You know the kids have put the time in, and this is just the next chapter in what's been a very challenging season, but a very good one. And I'm looking forward to hopefully 3 great crowds. It's a weekend to celebrate Reynolds Stadium. There's a number of alumni coming back to Stillwater to see the final regular season series. And it should be an environment for Oklahoma State fans and for our team that should get people real excited.
A chance to celebrate Allie P. Reynolds Stadium. Coach, appreciate it, and best of luck this upcoming weekend. We will talk about celebrating Allie P. Reynolds Stadium. Coming up next, we'll take a look back at the history and the final weekend coming up at Allie P. We'll do that right after this. Welcome back to the OSU Roundup, and as we said, this is the regular season finale coming up as Baylor comes to Allie P this weekend. But over the years, this stadium has meant a lot to a lot of former players and former coaches, including helping this team get a lot of wins.
The Oklahoma State University baseball program has seen growth and success like few other schools in the country. And the hitting machine comes through again for Gary Ward.
Goodbye, grand slam, home run.
Oklahoma State with the walk-off win in the sweep.
We opened against in April, and we lost 3 out of 4 to Missouri. We had decent crowds that showed up for it, as you know, but the one comment I remember is, well, we really have a great stadium, and maybe someday we'll have a baseball team. At the time, I just said to myself, you're going to get one, but you're going to have to pay to get in here, and you may not be able to sit in that seat ever again.
Hit deep to left field, and that ball is gone. Another one for Incavinia.
I mean, Oklahoma State went from last to first facility-wise with the vision of Gary Ward to build the new facility, and at the time, Reynolds Stadium was the show palace. Of course, it did exactly what Gary Ward wanted it to do, and that was send teams to the College World Series through their home ballpark.
Just magical, that 6-year run to have Pete Incaviglia and then Robin Ventura back-to-back. It just solidified Allie P. Reynolds as kind of a temple of college baseball in my view.
Every time you get kicked in the shins, every time you had a loss, every time you feel insufficient, that you don't have enough, maybe never will be enough, the stadium was the shining thing up there that you always looked at and said, I cannot fail.
And there's a lot of rich tradition here, and anytime you step out on that field, whether player, whether alumni, fan, you can just sense it. You get that feeling of the guys that came before you.
Allie P is just history, and when you're a player there, you feel those ghosts of those former great players. There's just a certain aura about the ballpark that is going to be hard to recreate anywhere you go.
A lot of great stadiums in Oklahoma, and especially in the Big 12 too, but none of them compared to Allie P. Fans are right on top of you.
It's special. It's unique. Where we work hard, it's a gritty place for gritty people, and it's a lot of pride that you take.
To see it all the way through and to think about this is the last year at Allie P. It's been an amazing run. You're so excited about the new stadium and everything that will entail. But yeah, there's a little tear in the eye as we close down Allie P. and think about, like I say, all the history that goes along with that.
"39 years of tremendous history at Allie P. Reynolds Stadium, that is for sure. Well, there's a great history at Cowgirl Stadium as well. We've got Kenny Gajewski, the head coach of the Cowgirl softball team. He'll join us on set right after this. Welcome back. Well, we turn our attention to softball, and the Oklahoma State Cowgirls are going to be hosting a regional. More on that in a bit, but the Cowgirls started this last weekend in Oklahoma City for the Big 12 tournament. And, Coach, a couple of big wins down there. Boy, I tell you what, you had said we're going to challenge our kids all week to get the train moving. I'm going to challenge the seniors to lead the way. And whatever those seniors did and your team did, they certainly got the track and the train rolling in the right direction again.
Yeah, you know, I think we talked about this last week. The train wasn't off track. It just had slowed down some after getting beat pretty good in the previous week. And so we just needed to get the momentum back. And we challenged them all week, like you said, made practice a little uncomfortable, especially with our bats. And it was fun to see our kids respond. We started out against Texas a little slow, but obviously we're facing a top arm in the country. And then we proceeded to really go. And I thought our at-bats were actually good all day. We finally got the hit, and then we got 2 hits, and then it was 3 hits and just some good at-bats and gutsy at-bats. And then all of a sudden we scored 6 runs against a good team. And so that propelled us into the next game. And just a fun way to finish the tournament, and good to see the hard work pay off.
Well, it did. Obviously, Springfield, a couple of RBIs. Kylie had a double, 1 RBI. Alexander, a single, led to a couple of RBIs. Factor as well. I mean, there was a lot of kids in that 6th inning that really contributed, some very good at-bats. And Samantha Schau in the circle, again, fantastic.
Well, one of the things I like, as you read off some of those names, is those are all freshmen and sophomore kids that are coming up big. And, our seniors just continue to do what they do. But these young kids are really starting to figure some things out, and that's cool for us. Schau was okay. Thought she was okay. I didn't think she was great. She's just a grinder. Like, she can be okay and win, and that's what's great. And our team knows that. And she knows that. She doesn't have to be perfect. I'd love her to do be, but we all know how hard that is. But we're going to score runs, and that's the great thing about that is she knows we're going to score. She's part of that scoring, like I said, just propelled us into that next game.
Coach, you guys, a 17-2 win over Iowa State. Gaudy numbers, 7 home runs, 5 in 1 inning, 2 for Dominguez, 4 kids with multi-hit on the day. You had 6 kids that had multiple RBIs. I mean, your offense was remarkable against Iowa State.
Played well. It just carried over. I could tell beating Texas, our kids, it wasn't like I mean, it was our third time we beat them now. So it's not like we were over there celebrating, but I could see just a little swag back that we'd had. And man, oh man, we carried it over. The first inning against Iowa State, we didn't score. And I was a little irritated because we had runners on base with some good hitting counts and didn't execute. And the second inning, I challenged them just a bit and just said, hey, get your focus back. I'm really proud about this game because Iowa State had their backs up against a wall. They needed to win this game. I told our team, you're going to have to bring it. They're gonna play. They're gonna scratch and crawl, and we just took it out of them. And that was fun. It was fun to watch. It was fun to be a part of.
Before we take a break and talk about the region, the Cowgirls will be hosting. Coach, you had 6 kids that made the All Big 12 team. Sam and Riley, both first teamers. Maddie Sue, 235 starts, just incredible. Second team along with Michaela. And then Cheyenne and Kyla made the all freshman team. That's a great representation.
Yeah, we've got a really good team, and unfortunately, we can't have all of our kids on that. We've got some other kids who probably deserve to be on that. But it is what it is. It's a good league. And when you're in a good league, there's a lot of good players that are rolling around. So I'm extremely happy for those kids. They're great achievements. They don't really mean anything now. It's what you've done up to that point. This is season 3 now. So anybody can be all region, all that kind of stuff now in these regional type deals. So the slate is clean again. It's great to have it, but nobody cares at this point. It's all about what you do from here on out.
Season 3 starts tonight at the Cowgirl Stadium. We'll talk about the regional coming up right after this.
Moving on to the 13th seed overall and in Stillwater at Cowgirl Stadium.
Well, there's a great look of the reaction of the team once the announcement was made. And, Coach, obviously they were excited. Not just excited that they were going. Everybody knew you guys were going. And I think we all thought, but until you see, you don't know, you're hosting for the first time since 1998. That's awesome.
Great feeling, sense of accomplishment for the next step. I can't help to think about that Team 1 when we got here and what they've meant to us. So many of those kids reached out right away and how excited and proud that they were. And I just reminded them that Team 1 was who got this thing back on track. But it's just a feeling that you can't describe. My stomach was in knots all day. I felt like we've earned it. But you'd never know until your name's called. Felt like we were going to be in that 10 to 13 to 14 range, and we fell in, I think, at 13. So right where I thought we would be. Well deserved, but the hard work's ahead of us again, and we've got to take care of game 1.
Very good teams coming in. Arkansas, 24 in the RPI. Tulsa, number 30 in the RPI. BYU, your first-round opponent. This is a very good regional.
No, this is no joke. There's really not a bad regional out there. Every one of these teams has earned their way. Nobody gets a free shot here. You got to win. You got to play good. You got to win your conference or play one of the best schedules in the country. So got those teams. We know a lot about 2 of them. Don't know as much about BYU yet. We're learning that as we speak and talk and all that. So we'll get there, and I expect our team to play well.
Coach, you guys will take on BYU, the West Coast Conference champs, number 1 in their league, and with their record at 29-24. Anytime you win a conference, you got to be pretty good, and I know you won't take them lightly.
No, there's no reason to take them lightly at all. They win their conference just about every single year. They're coached extremely well. They'll be well prepared, and their kids are playing for their season too. So this is what it's all about. This is what everybody goes to college to play sports for, is postseason play and the opportunity to be one of the final 8 teams.
First game just got underway with Arkansas and with Tulsa. The Cowgirls will play at 7:30. Coach, 1384 is the old record, right, of fans in the stadium. Be nice to shatter that day 1.
We better. I expect our fans to. The challenge is on. I don't think we'll have any issues. I think the seats sold out in a record time again. The outfield will be jumping. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere here. The weather looks great. And the one thing I know is our Cowgirls will play well.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, 7:30, the first pitch at the Cowgirl Stadium coming up this evening. Coach, best of luck. Always appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Hey, that's going to do it for us. We want to say thanks to Coach Josh Holliday. We want to say thanks to Kenny Gajewski, and we want to say thanks to you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time. Talk about the Cowgirls and look ahead for the Big 12 tournament on the baseball side next week on the show. We'll see you then, right back here on the OSU Roundup.
The OSU Roundup is brought to you by Bud Light, game day's favorite light lager. By the Visit StillwaterOK.org, Shop, Dine, and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life.